Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's Juan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about the topic of letting go, but before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know that I am a very blunt type of speaker. Therefore, if I say anything rude or something that might sound triggering to you, please let me know because that's the last thing I want to do. Letting go is one of the worst, best feelings in the world. It's the worst because this person, thing, or version of you played a significant part in your life, but it's the best because you get to take what you learn and move on. But I can assure you, it is much harder than it sounds. Let me tell you a story that I went through a little over a year ago. I started talking to this girl from my school at the beginning of last summer, and I really messed with her vibe, and we quickly started texting every single day. About 1 to 2 weeks later, we eventually hung out, and it was one of the best days of my life. We played a bunch of pickleball, we passed the soccer ball around while having some deep convos, and then we got in and out. And this girl brought me so much peace in such little time. Like when I was on my way to pick her up, I had an insane amount of butterflies in my stomach. But when we finally greeted each other and gave each other a little side hug, every single ounce of nervousness that I had within me disappeared. And I still think about that moment sometimes, and it's still quite hard to fathom. I don't know if she had some type of voodoo doll on her, or if she had some magic spell that she casted in her room, but it fucking worked. After the hangout, those feelings that I had for her, they quickly amplified, and I eventually ended up falling in love with her. I would wake up and go to sleep thinking about her, so then I proceeded to say the prayer. And some of you guys may already know what I'm talking about, but the prayer in this context is basically me asking God to remove this girl from my life if she's not the one for me. I was really falling in love, but I needed to choose God's plan first. And guess what? God answered my prayer, and our bond eventually came to an end. In the context of love, it was the hardest thing I went through. I was angry, sad, and all types of negative at the time, and I literally lost myself. We weren't right for each other at the time, and I just didn't want to accept that. I started going to the gym every day, busting my ass off, not for me, but in hopes of her seeing what she's missing out on. I stopped talking to the people around me. I started going to therapy. I started journaling, and I spent every second of every day fixated on the possibility of her hitting me up again. I was holding on to a tiny thread of hope because I genuinely thought that this girl was the one for me. I knew I needed to let go, but holding on in the moment felt much better. And a few months later, I hit her up in hopes of rekindling, and the convo literally lasted like 5 minutes. And all I could say out loud to myself during that time was, damn. Because this entire time, I finally realized that I was telling myself a false story. And quick disclaimer, what I'm telling you is not with the intention of trying to bash this woman or make her seem bad. I'm mainly telling this story to let you guys know how much fucked up shit was going on in my head at the time. I have a lot of gratitude for what this woman brought me. She's helped me grow in such exponential ways, and I'll forever be thankful for the impact that she left. It got me here, and I'll forever remember her for that. And fast forward now to May of this year, I finally decided to let go. But it wasn't easy. I'm not gonna bullshit you and say that I randomly woke up one morning and every single ounce of pain was gone. I'm not gonna tell you that I read a quote on Instagram and I suddenly moved on. I was holding on to someone who was far gone. I kept telling myself over and over, oh, maybe if I wait just a little bit longer, she'll come back. If I change my ways and who I am as a person, maybe she'll hit me up one day. Maybe I can fix this. I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to not giving up in life, but in this scenario, being stubborn was my downfall. I can't even tell you how many maybes I stacked on top of each other over time before realizing that I was just telling myself a fairy tale. This ain't the fucking Notebook. This ain't La La Land. This is reality, and accepting it is hard. It feels much easier to hold on, doesn't it? But sometimes, that's what holding on is. It's self-deception. I spent countless nights overthinking every single thing I said. I would go back and reread text messages in hopes of finding a secret answer to what went wrong. I kept giving chances. I kept trying to rewrite what happened in my head so that I could justify what went wrong between us. Not because she was showing up for me still, but because I was afraid to face the silence. I was afraid of what life would be like without this girl. And if I'm being real, sometimes we don't even miss the person, we miss the idea of them. We romanticize the shit out of this person, and then we end up missing the idea of who they could have been. And that's not love, dude. That's fucking delusion. And guess what else I realized? Choosing to not let go is not only unfair for them, but it's unfair for you. They don't deserve to walk around and move on knowing that you're still pursuing them. That's some stalker shit. And you certainly don't deserve to remain in the same spot forever, no matter how good or bad it feels. Letting go is your best option. It's the biggest act of love for the both of you, because not only are you giving this person the freedom to continue living their life, but you're also allowing yourself to reclaim yours. I know how it feels to think that holding on is an act of love, but this isn't a movie, dude. They're not coming back. And even if they do, you can't fixate your entire time on that possibility. You have other shit to worry about internally right now. By choosing to continue holding on, you're not only letting yourself know that you're afraid of being alone, but you're letting yourself know that you're afraid of change and that you're afraid of forgetting. And if you continue to hold on, even when you know that it's time to let go, you can think of it as gripping a shard of glass. You think that the tighter and the longer you squeeze, that the pain will ease off, but you know damn well that every time you do that, the glass only cuts deeper and you're losing yourself more and more every second. And after a while, you're not even holding on to them anymore. You're holding on to memories. You're holding on to what ifs. You're watering a dead plant. It's gone, whether for now or for good. And you have to accept that, or else you will remain stuck forever. Letting go doesn't mean that you never love this person. It doesn't mean that whatever happened between you guys doesn't matter. What it means is that you're simply closing the door to what was and you're walking into what is. Now, some of y'all are probably watching this saying, who the fuck is this 19-year-old telling me to let go? I don't blame you, but I've been in your position. I was the one begging for closure that never came. I was the one who constantly went back and reviewed every single text message trying to figure out where I went wrong. I was the guy who was crying over people who left me and moved on days later. And if that's you right now, I see you. But I'm also trying to tell you, you're better than this. And you know it too. Stop shrinking yourself to fit someone else's absence. Remember who the fuck you are. You're worth much more than that. If something is causing you more pain than it is peace, why are you still there? If you find yourself constantly questioning whether someone loves you or not, how is that love? You gotta remember who you were before this person. You were doing just fine and now you can't live without them? You clearly don't love yourself enough. How can you focus on giving out love when you can't even generate it within yourself? Why are you so fixated on this one person when you know damn well that that energy could be put towards you? It feels confusing, doesn't it? Well, guess what? You're not really confused. You're just afraid to accept the truth because you know that it means starting over. So quit making up these false theologies to justify your weakness. Starting over sucks. Nobody said it's fun. But sometimes in your journey, not every step is going to be forward. Maybe God is backtracking you right now because you missed a huge segment of his teaching. When you start over, that shit's going to feel lonely. But you know what's even lonelier? Remaining in the same spot, knowing damn well that you're losing yourself every single second. So now here's the $1 million question. How the fuck do I let go? First, you have to choose to let go. It doesn't happen on its own. You don't randomly wake up one morning and everything's gone. You gotta grow some balls and you gotta tell yourself, you know what? I'm gonna stop feeding this pain. I'm gonna stop looking back at every conversation and I'm gonna stop wondering what if. You're not gonna succeed every single day. Some days, some weeks, you're gonna feel terrible. But staying firm in letting go, that's the anchor that keeps you going throughout this process. There were some days where I was literally about to call up this girl and tell her how I truly feel still. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to feel. You're a human. And you're not less dominant for missing someone. It takes courage to acknowledge that. But you gotta remember that things end for a reason. You can't rewrite what happened. You can only write what happens next. And who knows? Maybe this person will end up coming back into your story one day. But that's not your priority right now. It's your story for a reason. Surrender your burden to God and He will take care of it. Second, you have to allow yourself to grieve. You have to allow yourself to drown in the pain. And I know what you're thinking. What the fuck is this kid talking about? But hear me out. You have to mourn the future that you thought you were building. You don't move on by pretending to be okay. Like I said in my video, constantly deciding to push that shit aside will only exacerbate the problem more and more, and it will catch up. And when it does, good fucking luck. Don't say I didn't warn you. You have to purposefully allow yourself to sit in the discomfort and let the waves crash over you without fighting back. Because healing doesn't come from avoiding the pain. It comes from walking through it. In life, whatever you resist persists. Number 3, you gotta shift your perspective. Instead of constantly asking yourself, why me? Why was I the one that had to go through this? Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? If you're gonna hurt, at least let it teach you something. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Maybe it taught you what you truly value in life. I learned from this relationship that I'm not a lustful person, and I'm willing to wait for the girl of my dreams to enter my life. Shit, I'm still a virgin, and it might remain like that until the day I die. But at least I never gave in to lust. Just like Jesus said in the Bible, it is better to cut off your hand than to sin with it. For it is better for you to lose one of your members than for your entire body to be cast into hell. Maybe this relationship you went through taught you about some internal issues that you need to work on. Maybe it taught you your capacity to love deeply. Every single day that I would talk to this girl, I would compliment her a minimum of 10 times. So I wouldn't be surprised if she ever got annoyed. But guess what? That's not weakness. That's strength. So do you. Now, I'm gonna talk to the version of you that cries in silence. You're tired. I know. Just like Lil Baby said in his song Emotionally Scarred, I'm tired of being tired of being tired. And it does speak a lot of volume in this scenario. I know how it feels like to be tired from pretending that you're okay. I know how it feels like to constantly wonder why this person didn't choose you, knowing damn well that you would have went to war for them. Here's the thing though. You can't force someone to see your worth. And begging for love doesn't earn you respect. Begging for love is one of the most disrespectful things that you can do to yourself. Where's your dignity? You, and yes, you, deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation. And some of you may wonder, oh, how am I gonna know when this person chooses? Dude, you're gonna know. For now, choose God and choose yourself. And guess what? Even if they don't choose you, that's their loss. That's not your burden to carry anymore. Letting go is hard because it also means that you have to kill the fantasy. It means that you have to accept the fact that not all stories have closure. And if you continue dragging around that dead weight with you, there's nothing noble about that. That's simply self-destruction. By holding on, you're not saving the relationship. In reality, you're burying yourself along with it. You want to know what healed me? It's what I'm doing right now. I'm being brutally honest. I'm not sugarcoating anything. When I talk to you guys like this, when I curse, when I say things very blunt, I don't intend to sound rude. But if it requires me to talk in this tone for my words to have an impact, so be it. Motherfuckers really need to hear this shit sometimes, bro. And guess what? I'm motherfuckers. Like I said, throughout this journey, I'm not only talking to you, I'm walking with you. I need to hear this shit too. We're in this together. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and you gotta tell yourself, they're not coming back. They don't care the way I care. And I'm not gonna continue bleeding just to keep their memory alive. And that's when you'll start to notice change. Not all at once, but slowly and surely. I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. I stopped waiting for a text message that was never gonna come. I stopped checking my Instagram stories to see if she viewed it. I started directing all of that energy towards myself, and I'm stronger than ever, but I'm still learning. And guess what? You don't need that closure. You don't need that explanation, and you don't need that final conversation. Like I said, this ain't the fucking Notebook. You just need to stop abandoning yourself. Because if I'm being real with you, it's not letting go of them that's the hard part. It's letting go of the version of you that needed them so badly. Here are some practicalities that helped me. Starting with number 1, limit your exposure. I'm talking social media, their friends, anything about them that persists in your daily life, cut it off. And no, you're not nonchalant, you're not rude, and you're not cold-hearted for doing that. You're simply protecting your energy. Now, sometimes it's hard to avoid it, even when you try. Like my first semester of college, I had a class with this girl's best friend, and I have nothing bad to say about her best friend. Her best friend's really cool, funny, and smart. She's awesome. But obviously, knowing that that was her best friend, every time I would look at her, I would think about the girl that I talked to. One time, I had a panic attack in the middle of class because that day, I was very overwhelmed with the amount of grieving I was going through from her. And looking at her friend, who absolutely did nothing wrong, it just made it worse for me. This had a lot to do with me and nothing to do with them. I literally went to the bathroom. I needed to calm down, so I started playing Geometry Dash on my phone for like 20 minutes, and then I went back to class. So yeah, sometimes you can't avoid it, no matter how much you limit your exposure. But just remember, you are allowed to take extreme measures in protecting your energy. It's your energy. Number 2, journal. I'm not talking about that Diary of a Wimpy Kid shit. I'm talking about that raw shit. Every single thought on your mind that pops up about them, whether it's I love you, I hate you, write that shit down. Get every single thought about them out of your head. Don't sugarcoat anything and don't refrain from saying anything on your mind because it sounds rude. Are you doing this for you or are you doing this for them?
Yo, I'm editing the video real quick. Whatever you write down, do not send it. Whether it's like a letter or a notepad, do not send it. That is supposed to be for you and you only. I already made that mistake once. Please don't fuck up like I did. That will be the worst. That will genuinely be the worst.
Number 3, talk to someone. Whether it's God, a therapist, a family member, or a friend, talk to someone. Because if you try doing this journey alone, you just might end up like Joe Goldberg. Number 4, remind yourself of who you were before this person came into your life. Start reconnecting with all of the shit that made you feel happy. Remember that you're a fucking dog and that nothing in this world is too great for you as long as you have God. And the biggest one, which I already said but I didn't get into it, number 5, allow yourself to not be okay. You're not a robot. You're a human. You're allowed to feel. Healing isn't one straight path forward. You're gonna feel on fire one week, and then the next week, you might feel like you're back at stage 1. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you're a human. Challenge is inevitable, but are you gonna be proactive or reactive? And eventually, those quiet moments will start to feel less heavy. Days will become brighter, and you'll notice that you're laughing and smiling a lot more than before. The pain may not disappear, but it won't control you anymore. You're gonna have a lot of peak moments and realize, wow, I didn't think of them once throughout the day. You're gonna make a lot of memories that don't hurt anymore. It's okay to think about them from time to time. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a human, like I said. I still think about this girl from time to time, and I smile every single time because of the impact that she left me with. So if you're watching this and you're holding on to someone, to something, or a version of you that's no longer true, I need you to hear me. You have to let go. Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter. You matter, my friend. Your peace matters and your future matters. But the only way to walk into the future is to let go and learn from the past. Letting go doesn't mean that you're giving up. Get that notion out of your head. Instead, view letting go as giving in. Giving in to what life is trying to teach you. And just maybe, the other side will be much brighter than where you are right now. So relax, take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, and tell yourself, I'm letting go for my own good. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon.